Do you ever have so many thoughts in your head that you just don't know where to begin? You don't know where to start, you don't know what you need to do for the day, and you don't know where you're going, what direction you're going. So, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the value of journaling and how that can really benefit your mental health and your clarity, and how it can help you provide direction for where you want to go. So welcome back to the channel. My name's Johnny. I'm a man who believes in helping people find fulfillment and self-love in life. So you probably come across what journaling is. Journaling is often a written account, whether it's on paper, whether it's speaking, or whether it's electronically on a laptop or even on your phone. But what it is it's getting clarity from your thoughts, your feelings, your goals out of your mind and onto paper to help you understand it in a new perspective by getting it out and providing next steps. So I'm going to go through some of the benefits of journaling. First of all, clarity, benefit number one. Journaling helps you to really get all those thoughts, all those muddled thoughts out onto paper and understand more about yourself. So for this point, I've got an example of my journaling yesterday. So first of all, I wrote about my feelings. How am I feeling? Am I feeling positive or negative? So yesterday I was feeling good and now and then some bad. So by understanding how I was feeling, it really helped me provide clarity on what I needed to focus on next. So I was feeling proud of myself when I achieved something at work, but I ate a bit of rubbish food yesterday, so I felt a bit guilty from that. And then I looked at the root causes of my negativity. So it was around perfection and feelings that I should be doing better than I am, and trying to understand where that stemmed from. And then I started to look at how I can make those negative thoughts into positivity. And then I started to look at the truth, what my true self wants, who I really am. And then I started journaling that. And then I finished it with some positive questions. So, how can I have more positive energy? How can I love myself more? What can I do? So I went through that process, understanding what I was feeling, getting that clarity, and then going through that process to shape it into positive questions, really help provide clarity on where I was and how to move forward. The second benefit, and it probably goes on to a little bit of what I touched on then, is understanding yourself more. So not only getting clarity around how you're feeling and where you want to go, but when you do that, you understand yourself a little bit better. So by understanding where the negativity is coming from, you're able to understand why that is and how you might be able to address it. But also you are able to understand what a positive you feels like. So thinking of that time when you felt amazing, what are the feelings, what do you really feel about yourself and who you really were in that moment. So that's the second benefit. The third benefit is setting goals. So when we set goals, we often forget them. It's a very common New Year's resolution mistake to make. She's this really cliche example, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to be healthy this year. First of all, it's not really clarified, it's not very specific what the goals are, but we'll just say it. People will just say it and then they'll forget about it in a few months, even a few weeks. But when you write down your goals daily, whether that's your dream goals, your monthly goals, your weekly goals, or your daily goals, I'd recommend you write all, so you're constantly reinforcing what they are and writing your whys for all of them, even if that sounds like a bit of an overload. But journaling your goals constantly over and over again can really help you embed into your brain what you want. And then if you're writing a goal and it's no longer fitting with what you want, you'll be able to write that. And by writing over and over again, journaling what your goals are and why you want them, you're more likely to achieve them. Benefit number 4, helping your memory. So how many thoughts do we get a day? Don't ask them that. it's going to be so many. I can't even think of a number for it. But we're not going to remember everything, are we? So for me, I often write down ideas on my phone and then send them to myself later. But when you're journaling in your sessions, you can really write down important things you've discovered from the day, and then when you read back over it, you'll remember them. So journaling can really help your memory. And finally, positive mindset. I've touched on this previously a little bit in this video, but by journaling, you're able to identify what the negative thoughts are. Now, if we try and run away from our negative thoughts, they're only going to come back up to us even worse. Trying to run away from your negative thoughts or what's really going on inside of you, the troubles you're having, is one of the worst things you can do. But by identifying what they are, getting to that root cause, and then turning them from negatives into positives, trying to understand the truth, because the ego is going to be crushing us. It's going to be saying, oh, I'm not good enough when things are going wrong. But by identifying what they are and then turning them into a positive, your mind's able to feel better from that. So journaling can really help you get to the truth of what's happening and identify next steps to create that positive mindset going forward. And when you write over and over again, if you keep journaling like that, your mind's naturally going to become more positive, and it's going to be a quicker process from turning negatives, understanding them, into positives quicker. Now I'm just going to talk about how I journal and some tips you might be able to get from this. So earlier I showed you my other black book, but this is my main journal. So the other black book is more of a kind of setback plan. So when I'm feeling negative, I'm able to go through a process of turning that negativity into a positive mindset. Now this is my journal I use for my goal setting and overall review of the day. Now what I do the night before, the next day, is write down all my goals, as I've touched on. So I write down my dream goals, my monthly goals, my weekly goals, and my goals for the day. I have a session each week at the moment where I look at goal setting, where I really get time to sit down and understand what I'm trying to achieve in the coming month, and checking that's aligning with my dream goals and my year goals. But each day I'll write them down and reinforce them to really understand and know where I'm going, and make sure my daily goals are aligning with my weekly goals, understand my weekly goals are aligning with my monthly goals, and my monthly goals are aligning with my year goals or my dream goals. So I'll write the goals out the night before, so the next morning it's just a quick process of reading over them again. I also note any moments of happiness and sadness from the day. So if I've eaten a particular kind of food, did I feel a lack of energy or not feel as good? If I've eaten too much sugar, for example, too much, obviously as a vegan I'm not going to have real chocolate, but dairy-free chocolate. If I've eaten too much of it, I sometimes can feel a bit anxious. So I started to journal that I get those rises in anxiety, and that's the kind of things I journal. Or I felt fantastic after I did a cardio session at a gym, and I'm a bit obsessed with cardio. I don't do enough weights, but you can probably tell by my kind of skinny figure, but like when I've gone for a really good run at the gym, I felt fantastic. So that's the kind of thing I journal. So those are the kind of things I'll journal the night before. In the morning, I'll get up and read what I've written in terms of my goals, and some of that learning from the day before on what makes me happy or sad. But then I'll write down a mantra from the day. Now it's from this great book, Find Your Happy by Shannon Kaiser, on daily mantras. So I'll read a mantra from that, and write it down. So that's how I journal. But the other journal I mentioned, can't find it. Oh wait, there it is more something I'll do in the afternoon when I get back, and that's really trying to get down thoughts to paper from what's going on to creating more of a positive mindset. And by going through that process constantly, that enables my mind to start thinking in more of a positive way. I also do this when I'm feeling really down or about something or anxious. So that's how I use journaling. Hopefully you can use some of that for some thought and take some actions from that. Okay, to sum up what we've talked about today, when we get so many thoughts in our heads day to day, it can often be a bit overwhelming for us. We get quite a lot of negative thoughts, but by journaling, getting it out of our head, we help ourselves become more clear on what we need to do, what we're really thinking, who we really are, and what our goals are. So journaling is really, really beneficial, not only for setting goals, but for providing more clarity for ourselves. So it's something that I'd highly recommend. Okay, so today's question is, if you don't journal already, how would you really, really benefit from journaling and why? I hope today's video has been of value to you. If you want to find out more information on me or look at my blogs or my short stories, go on to johnnypardo.com. You can also find any of my books on Amazon, just type in Johnny Pardo into there. Or I'm on Facebook and Instagram, type in @JohnnyPardoAuthor. And I'm also now on LinkedIn, just type in Johnny Pardo into LinkedIn. Speak soon.